All right, welcome to another episode of the Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lumnah Acres, Ben from Hollar Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. This is episode 62. And what did you guys have for dinner? Did you have dinner yet?
Chicken, rice, and gravy.
Chicken, rice, and gravy.
We had pork and beans, but Meg used the seasoning she usually puts in gumbo, so it tasted like gumbo, but it was like pork and beans and rice. It was pretty good. It's nice and spicy.
Yeah, we had shredded chicken with potatoes and okra. It was good.
Sounds good. Was it all out of your garden?
Yeah.
Was that a whole home cooked meal?
That was actually, yeah.
That's always a good feeling. The pork was ours, but the rice and the beans were not ours.
Yeah. Gotta grow them rice and beans. I know that's another level. All right, so Ben, did you announce your workshops? Have you done that yet?
Nope, I haven't done that yet. Well, I mean, we did technically. Like I've talked about it here and there. I'll mention it here real quick. We have our pig workshops scheduled for anybody who's wanting to learn how to butcher a pig. The way we do the classes, kind of my thinking is I'm already going to do this anyways to put meat in our freezer. And I know when I was learning this stuff, man, it was really hard to find places to go learn this. And so to be able to kind of give back a little bit and offer a place for someone who wants to learn how to process a pig, like, come on. So the dates we have for our classes, the first class is October 18th and 19th. It's a 2-day class. Basically the way these classes are structured is we kill and do the dirty work on day 1, and then on day 2, that's when it really becomes food. Like that's the fun stuff. It's a fun time. It's a fun couple days. The second class is November 8th and 9th. These are all Friday, Saturday classes. We found that works pretty good. The last class that I am teaching is December 6th and 7th. And then we are having Hand Hewn Farm out in January. That's January 17th through 19th. That's a 3-day class. That's an expensive class because, we're paying the hand hewn guys to come out and process our pig for us, but it's a way different class than I teach. I just teach a basic class, like, the entry level. You've got your pig and you need to get it in the freezer type of thing, and you want to do it yourself. The hand hewn guys, man, they show you how a hipster would do it. Like they really know how to make the cool stuff. So if you're wanting a more advanced class, there's the hand hewn class. Everything is it's live on our website if you would like tickets. That's hollarhomestead.com. Go check it out if you would like to join us. That's 4 classes this winter. It's going to be a busy winter for us, but yeah. So there you go.
Right on. Yeah, when we're doing classes too, so I made sure that me and Ben were not doing them on the same day.
we had to compare schedules. It's like, hey, you got this weekend?
Yeah, I was like, you're doing pig butchering, I'm doing pig butchering. Like, let's not do them on the same day. Right. Just so that way more people can have different options on different dates. And then, you never know who might happen to be stopping by on those workshops either. Hey, Ben, do you have any sugar? Oh, I didn't know you were doing a workshop today.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, hey, Jason, what are you doing over here?
I know. You never know who's going to stop by. But, yeah. So we have different dates to choose from, so it makes it pretty fun.
Now you guys doing 1 pig per class, 2 pigs, or?
So this year it's just going to be 1 pig. We've got 4 feeder pigs. They're full-blood Berkshires. Last year we did a feeder pig, or your classic big pig, and we did a guinea hog, and we kind of did the side-by-side. I will say it is a very busy day to try to do 2 pigs, especially in day 2. Day 2, it makes for a very long day because you're cutting up 4 sides of pork. And I figure it's probably a little bit better, a little bit easier, just so we can have people, handle the class. And there's a lot of people, they want to get on the road. They want to start heading home by the end of Saturday afternoon. And I try to be accommodating. It's like, I know how it is if you've got to travel, especially, I mean, we've had people from all over the country. I think last year we had someone from Washington State fly out here, and, you know, they were just wanting to get home. So yeah, we try to be efficient with our time. So this year's just one pig.
Cool. So did you guys have a busy week?
And everybody jump to the front of the line.
Well, the weather's been nicer. I don't know, Al, what's going on over there, Al?
You don't want to know.
Weather's been nice over here.
No,
Weather's been
not here.
Beautiful.
Has it?
I can tell how good the weather's been because our little group chat has been silent almost all week.
Been busy enjoying the weather.
It almost feels like a hint of fall. Like
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just my eyes, but I'm starting to see a little bit of change in the leaves.
We are too.
Yeah. I'm noticing the same thing. Like there's just like a hint, like the tulip poplars are starting to look a little more yellow. Like it's coming. I hope this year's a beautiful fall. That'd be nice.
Now, I was just seeing that we're supposed to get a lot of snow this year. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know.
Wonder
Ben's my weatherman. Ben, what do you think?
Hey, what happens? Do you start getting closer and closer to 40 and all of a sudden you just like weather's your thing? You know, I've heard the jokes like when you turn 30, you either pick up the hobby of you study World War II, like ridiculously so, or you learn how to smoke meats. Like it's true. Like it's a stereotype for white dudes. Like
That's funny.
I don't know. Yeah, something about, you know, I'm 38. I'm going to be 39 in December, and weather is like my thing. Like I just enjoy weather. I'm a nerd. I don't know what happened. I used to not give, like, the weather report was, hey, it's sunny today. Cool.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
I just sent you guys a photo that I've been seeing. I think it was like NOAA put out or something for the areas.
Wasn't
So,
fast
I don't
enough.
know.
You said that I was trying to mute my phone.
I don't know where you guys are on the map, but we're supposed to be, we're probably right around the border. Huge snowstorms. Worst of winter.
We're in the winter battle zone.
You're in the battle zone. So I don't know what that means, but
I know, what does that mean?
For a lot of the U.S., it's going to be a snowy winter. But
Or it might be an above average one, actually. Never know.
Can't tell. Yeah.
Never know.
That's been something hard. You know, growing up my whole life in California, I knew exactly where our county was. And so anytime you see the weather map, it's like, no rain for us again. And out here, it's like, I'm trying to like spot where our county is because I haven't memorized it yet.
Yep.
It's funny.
So it's been cold here. I'd say 50s at night and then 60s, 70s. We had a nice couple of days and then we get more rain.
60s and 70s. Sunny or like gloomy?
Both. We had a lot of gloomy days. And then this weekend was nice. And then Sunday we got some rain. And then last night around, I think it started at 1 a.m. We got woken up by thunder and lightning, like super loud, like right above our house. And it was like, oh, woke us up. And then we got it again. And we're lying there sleeping or awake because it just woke us up and the power went out. And we're just like, my first thought's like, power's out. And then I went, oh crap, we're off grid. The power's out. Like, what happened to solar? So I ran downstairs and all of the inverters were red. So I shut them off, let it. So it's like the inverters are kind of like miniature computers, I guess, a good way to explain it. So if they get like struck by lightning, they're going to get cooked. So I powered them down, let them reboot them. It took probably like 5-10 minutes and they powered back on. So then I'm in the powerhouse room hearing them run. And then all of a sudden I hear like kind of like a tea kettle blowing. And I'm like, what the heck? I go into the bathroom and we have like a 1/2 inch of water on the floor in the closet where the well is.
Mm.
So the well was over pressurizing, but so there's like a computer-ish system inside and then outside's the pump. So the pump was working, but the computer system wasn't turning on or nothing. So I shut that off. We called the well guy today. He came out, they fixed it. But I'm thinking that either the well got struck or somewhere around the well got struck and it must have backfed electricity into the well housing in the house and then went into the.
So it messed it up?
Yeah, it was like a $1,200 fix.
Oh man.
Yeah, usually you don't think about putting an EMP shield on your well.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I looked at the well. The well didn't get struck, like the well casing. I couldn't find any trees in the area that got struck, so I don't know where it got struck, but I'm assuming that it must have been the well casing took it, and then it must have, followed the electrical line back in the house, and then set the well off. It burnt up the computer like motherboard inside the well housing in the house, and then I'm assuming it must have went to the main panel. It kicked one breaker, so we have ground fault arc breakers. It kicked one. And the funny thing is it's one where my office is. Like I go to turn my computer on in the morning to go to editing, and I have no power. Oh no! So
welcome to our world, Al.
But it was just that one breaker. So I don't know what it was.
So do you have water?
We have water now. We didn't this morning.
Oh, okay.
They actually came out, I think within an hour or two, and it took them like an hour to fix it. So we were thankful to get
Well, that's not bad.
the water
That's
on.
not bad. Jason,
No,
how long do you have to wait if you call a well guy?
Oh, it's probably like a week or two.
Really?
6 to 8 business days.
After I troubleshoot it for a week and then finally call a well guy. And you didn't want to. Did you even mess with it at all, or you just called him right away?
No, I messed with it. Gina was like, "Don't mess with it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm messing with it." So I messed with it, but it's all computer related. I basically diagnosed the best I could. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the motherboard. The pump's working. It's overpressurizing. Like we could turn it on, and you could just watch the pressure gauge go up and up and up, and then it would get to like 100, and that's when it would blow off. So then I would just shut it off, and I did it a few times. That's what it was doing. So I'm like,
that's kind of unnerving.
Everything's computerized nowadays. But we have the gravity-fed water system outside for the animals. So the animals were able to do the chores and everything and water them. And in the back of my mind is like, if anything ever happens for a long period of time, I will plumb the spring water into the house and we'll have water. We'll have water. And that was kind of like one of the reasons why I did it. I would have liked to have had a gravity-fed spring in the house for the water. But I don't know. I'm always kind of like, I know Gina and Olivia didn't like when I said, like, one of the first things we did was we put a well in the property. And you really can't get financing for property very easily if it doesn't have a drilled well. Like if you have a spring nowadays, most banks don't want to finance that stuff. So I was like, if we're going to be improving the land or anything, and somebody's going to have to not just get like a raw land mortgage, they're going to have to get like a regular mortgage. I'm like, I want to make sure that there's at least a well on here and that somebody could, if, say I died, I hate to, I'm like, hey, if anything happens to me, like, I don't want to give you guys a burden, like, and you're stuck with something that you can't do anything with. So I just, I always, my mind kind of goes that direction sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's why we did the well.
No, that's good, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Right there with you.
Yep.
I think every guy has that thought, especially doing what we're doing here. Like, I don't really want to have this property in a position to where if I died tomorrow, a freak smelting accident or something, like you never know. You can walk outside and get struck by lightning. Like you really never know. I don't want to leave a burden for the rest of the family. Like that just doesn't make sense.
Right. So that's why we have the well. I would have loved to do a spring, just a gravity-fed spring to the house, because I'm like, that's just easy. There's no fail. Like it really, once the well or the spring dries out, it really can't fail on you. This is the second issue we've had with the well pump. The first one we had right from the factory, which we didn't realize it took almost a year, I think. The computer has the brain inside has a chip outside, and the pump has a chip too, and they both read. Well, it worked for a while, but every once in a while it would trip, and I'd have to go in my breaker box and like reset it, and then it would work for like 6 months, and then it wouldn't work. Well, come to find out, the two chips weren't working with each other, and after so many cycles, it would just shut off. So we had the issues a few times, and then it took them like a year to completely figure it out, because after like the year, it just kept like automatically tripping. So the first time it was covered under warranty. This time wasn't. But I mean, that was lightning. So,
Is there anything you can do to protect against that? Can you put like an EMP shield on your well?
I don't know. I'd have to look into that more. If we could probably get our own EMP shield for the well, I would think, and wire it in. Because I'm thinking it must have been lightning. I mean, it happened at the same time, and
There's probably something you could do, yeah.
right.
So what else did you get into?
Then we got. It started. I was like, I had a few extra minutes. Like, all right, I'm gonna pick up the cow lanes. I'm gonna mow the lawn. I'm not mow the lawn. I'm gonna mow the pasture down the area where it's high. We had a coyote come in last night to go to the chicken coop. So I'm like, oh, the grass by the chicken coop is high, so I'm gonna mow it down. So I started mowing that all down. I could see rain clouds coming. It was sprinkling. Then I saw the cows run under shelter. And the milk cow, if it rains hard, she runs under shelter. So I was like, yep, the rain's coming. We ended up getting 3/4 of an inch of rain in like a half hour this afternoon.
Jeez. Send some of it this way.
A cow to get your chicken?
I wish we could send some of it that way, for sure. But you guys could use it. Every time it starts to dry out, like the ground just started to dry out, like the puddles started to dry, and now they're full again. So I don't know what's going to happen this fall once it really starts to cool off. But
did the coyote get your chickens?
Not this morning. I scared them off, but I just got a text that they're back outside, or the coyote's back outside. So Gina's going to scare them off this time. It's daylight out right now, so he must be hungry, or the weather's got him all messed up.
Yeah, it's pretty brave.
Yeah, they'll get locked up tonight. So if I see him in the morning, I'll have to go out there and be ready and waiting for him.
Yell at him or something?
Yeah, I'll yell at him with a loud bang.
Yell at him at high velocity.
Right.
Hey, you. Yeah.
Hey, you, bang. This one, it was so foggy. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to see him good enough. And he like stayed around. I was like, I should have went in the back room and grabbed it. But I'm like, if I do, he's not going to be there. But he was. So
yeah.
I'll be ready tomorrow morning. All right. So I'm going to go a little into the weeds here. I'm not going to try to get political on the topic, but I think it's something interesting to bring up. So RFK he suspended his president race, and he's supporting Trump, and they're talking about him being like, they really haven't put any terms on it, but the way I look at it, like him being the health czar. And so I listened to a few of his things, and then the lady that he's been listening to and getting, I want to say, advice from, and then Trump has been listening to and getting advice from, is Callie Means. I think it's Callie, or it's Casey, because there's a brother and a sister that wrote a book together, and she was a doctor, so she knows a ton about metabolic health. And it's very interesting listening to their background and the way they're looking at the food system and our chronic health issues and what it's doing to the kids, and all of the numbers and percentages of like the health issues that like RFK was just rambling off. So if somebody like that gets in office to go after the food people, how do you guys think? Do you think like you could see a bigger change, or do you think it'd just be the same thing over and over again with the way the government runs?
You're talking to the conspiracy theory king right here. Like, how dark are we going here? Like,
do you think we could change this? Do you think the system could get changed? Is what I want to know. Like, is there hope?
It has to be like somebody like the president to say, hey, you need to eat grass-fed organic meats. And then some people will be like, oh, I guess I got to do that now.
But is it that, or is it changing the food bill and changing, like, the way I think that excites me, it's like, man, if they could change some of these rules and regulations, how many small farmers are chomping at the bit to be out there and to be able to start selling their food and make a living doing it? So is that a possibility if we can make that kind of change?
I mean, it's always a possibility. There's a reason we have opted to eliminate our dollars from that food system. Like, we do not support big agriculture. We do not support let's put chemicals in our food system. Like, there's a reason we grow our own food, and we spend a bunch of money on clean feed for our animals and stuff like that. Like, there's a reason for it. We don't talk about it a whole lot on our YouTube, just because we try to we try to keep it neutral, try to bring people in that don't really have a concept of, wait, you mean McDonald's isn't healthy? That kind of stuff. But man, like, come to one of our pig classes. There has not been a single class that we have not sat on either Friday or Saturday night, and the conversation has turned to food and all of this stuff. So to get back to answer your question, do I think if they went after the big food system, could we change it? Absolutely. It just takes a lot more than just the government going after the corporations that are doing this. Like, it also has to be people voting with their dollars. Maybe if the government were to start cracking down on putting poison in our food and spraying our food with poison, maybe that would wake some people up. But here's the pessimism coming. I think the corporations have too much control and sway in our government for that to happen right away.
Yep. So I guess if you guys are listening and you haven't heard what RFK said, if you go to his YouTube channel, he has a video on his channel where he's talking about suspending his race in the 10 states that matter. And at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark is when he starts talking about the whole part of our healthcare and how it's making our children chronically sick and all this stuff. So if you want to, I would recommend going to listen to that and see what he has to say, and then like how he dives into it.
It almost seemed like he was tearing up there for a minute. I felt
like, he got teary-eyed.
He was talking about some stuff, and then he started. Yeah,
he definitely seems passionate about it,
and
it's not like I don't think he's like trying to con anybody. Like, one of the reasons he said he didn't go to the Democratic side is because it'll be the same old, because the big money and corporations are going to run that political party still. So he doesn't see any of that change coming through that side.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of like,
correct.
It's interesting.
Right, like,
yeah.
What would it take to make that big of a change? And he's not talking about, unfortunately, getting rid of the USDA and the FDA. He's talking about redoing them. Like, I think that'd be a hard battle too. Like, going from one to the other.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder how long that would happen. How long it would take.
I can't say what I really think would happen if he went after those corporations, but I think, given his family history, people can figure out what I would say.
Yep. He said he'll make America healthy again in 2 years. I'm pretty sure it's either 2 years or 4 years, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 years. So there's a lot of change.
Yeah, bring it on.
That has to happen.
That would be neat. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, the way he talked and stuff. I mean, I guess we'll see, but it made you think.
Yep. So he also did an interview, I think it was either 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, with Joel Salatin on RFK Jr.'s podcast. And that was pretty interesting. I was hoping that Joel was going to get more into the regulation end of it with RFK Jr., but he didn't. But RFK Jr., I think it was in Poland. So RFK Jr. he's a lawyer, but I think it was Poland he was over in. And Smithfield's. So over there, it was all small farms and small abattoirs that would butcher all the small farmers' food, and they would bring it to market. Well, Smithfield's came in. They tried buying off one state or government rep, and that guy wouldn't. And that guy talked to RFK Jr. I'm pretty sure is what he said. But they ended up buying off the government, and they made it so that if you wanted to so Smithfield went in and they bought like one of the biggest abattoirs, and they were doing most of the butchering. And right when they went in, the government enforced a rule that in order to butcher, you had to have this one tool that costs, it was some kind of like safety tool, kind of like what they do over here, what costs thousands of dollars, and all these small abattoirs couldn't do it. So like that day, it put everybody out of business. So he's seen, I think, like the over-regulations and what it does to the small farmers. So it's kind of, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of everything.
Yep, for sure.
Then one thing I didn't realize is he was asking Joel about how he sells his food, and Joel was saying that he does it through drop points, which I knew. But then he brought up, is it Nyman Ranch, which is like a grass-fed. They sell like grass-fed, grass-finished beef through grocery stores and restaurants. So they have like their own certification program, and they must go and certify other ranches. So if you can sell through like their certification, and then when you go to a restaurant, is what RFK was saying, that you can, if you buy food that's from Nyman Ranch, it's been certified and it's regeneratively raised, even not by them. So it's like that ranch has made their own standards, and people are paying that ranch to get certified. Which I've heard the brand, but I've never seen it at a restaurant. Like the chefs cooking it or anything.
Do they say it in their menu? Like
That's what I'm wondering.
I've never seen that in a menu. Like,
no.
Usually just steak.
Right.
Sometimes they'll say grass-fed or something, but usually not. You have to really search on their website to see if they are, or ask.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to go. I mean, there's all sorts of places that you can get independent certification. I don't know if they still are, but like Oregon Tilth used to be a sticker on food that we looked for. Don't see it a whole lot out here on the East Coast, but Oregon Tilth, like, yeah, that USDA organic is nice, but there's like 5,000 chemicals that are cleared for organic use. So, like, I don't know, take your pick. Like, I think it is time for independent certification of things.
I think it would really take getting small farmers back and small butcher shops back. I'm trying to think what it was I listened to this winter, and they were saying like the easiest way to do it is to get grocery stores to be real butcher shops again, and for them to buy half carcasses or whole cows, and then they do all the butchering. Like that would be one of the easier ways to get local meats to people, the cleanest ever, without all the regulations and everything.
That would be neat.
Yep. Like I know, like we have a food co-op in our area. That's where we do our grocery shopping. It's like that'd be cool if like the co-op was buying half a hog or half a cow. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they'd go through one once a week. Even if they'd go through one twice a week, go up. But that'd be kind of cool if you could just walk in and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for some pasture-raised pork, and I'm looking for, I'm looking for the ham off of it, or looking for some ground meat," and they just go in the back room and they they made it that morning for you, kind of thing. Yep.
Heck yeah, that'd be neat. We have to. Yeah, I don't even know if that's even legal to do.
Not
it's
correctly.
If someone did want to do that, I don't think they can, but yeah, that would be neat if they could.
Well, that's what they used to do back in the day.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. I'm a lot more, I guess, libertarian, anarchist if you want. I'm just going to do it if I want meat, and I know Bob over here has meat, and I'm happy with the way he grows it. That's where I'm getting it, and nobody else needs to know besides, the farmer and me.
That's what it should be, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it should be, but I mean, I don't want bleach sprayed all over my meat, but if you take your animal to any USDA inspected facility, they spray it down with bleach. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, that's the system we have. Until something changes, that's how it's going to be.
Yep. Right. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Yeah, I guess we'll see soon enough. We'll see if that actually, what happens with it all.
That's what my mind's been thinking about all week long.
Yeah.
You're going to get me started. Like, we just spent 3 months burning through every single Rogue Food Conference video. Like, we subscribed to Joel Salatin's conference just so we could have all the videos, and we've watched every single talk. Like, man, you want to get fired up? Here's some of the stories from these people that have taken on the government and won.
You want to? So I'm 6 hours into the book. It's like I got 6 hours left. It's like 11 hours long. It's called Good Energy by Casey Means, and she's an MD. If you want to read a good book about health from a doctor's standpoint who went the medical route, and she was like the highest in all of her classes.
What's her name?
It's kind of Casey Means. Good Energy is the name of the book.
I did listen to, they were on a Tucker Carlson podcast. I did listen to that today.
How was that? I haven't seen that yet.
It was a pretty quick podcast, I think, but they were both on there talking about it.
Yeah. But the book's there's all different parts in the book, but it's kind of interesting to just hear her talking about like the perspective of her eyes being opened up while she's in medical school. She was like, I think less than a year away from getting like her top residency or whatever it is for a surgeon. She was like 5 years into her residency. She gave her notice one day, basically, and it was just, I don't know, it's just kind of wild to hear like a top doctor that's been in their class doing it for a while, drinking the Kool-Aid, to go, oh wait, what's going on here? And then how the medical systems ran, how the doctors, they're pushed to sell drugs, basically. They're pushed to do surgeries and all that. And this is coming from somebody who's been doing it, so it's not just kind of like hearsay. It's like, no, like this is how we're trained, and this is the stuff that happens inside the hospitals. And it's kind of like, okay, it's a good book, about halfway through. So, and she explains quite a bit like about food and everything, and how your different levels of if you do labs, all your different labs, and like how, like what they're looking at, how they're working and stuff like that. So we've been working with a functional medicine doctor for like 6 months. So we did a lot of these labs. So I kind of knew a little bit about them, but she's diving deeper and explaining them. So it's like, oh, okay. So I can go back and look at my labs and kind of see more like, oh, this is how my body's affected or metabolizing different things, and this is what I need to look out for, kind of thing. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, hearing stuff like that, man, it reminds me of when I went through chemo. Because I remember going through chemo and, just sitting in the chair, and there'd be like a group of chairs in a circle, like 10 people. And I mean, some people, it's like part of their life. Like they've been doing it for like 5 years. Once a week they come in and get plugged in, and just enough to give them enough to just, I guess, give them some kind of quality of life. And then other guy is like coming in with McDonald's. As he's getting pumped with chemo, he's eating a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, I could not eat when I was doing chemo because I would just throw up if I did. I mean, I was looking at him eating, I wanted to throw up. But it was the worst. I was like, I can't believe it. I
think she said 80% of medical schools, you do not need to take a nutritional class. So most doctors know like nothing about food. And even the ones that they do, they're kind of like, oh, like it's all the scientific data is conflicting. Like food doesn't matter.
Right.
Yep.
I believe that. Yeah.
And there's one we were watching, and it was a doctor talking about the requirement for nutrition is like 20 minutes in medical school out of like the whole time. Like it's minimal.
All right. So what else?
That's been I mean, I'm working on projects, but that's where my mind's been the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, hey, a lot of the times we want to go out to dinner, or we want to be able to go grab something good to eat, but there's no place to go. And you can't blame it on the restaurants, like there's local restaurants, but they all have to get the food from the same place. It all comes from Cisco. Like Cisco owns most food distributors. So no matter what restaurant you go to, the majority of restaurants you go to, they're all getting their food from Cisco.
Yep.
It'd be nice to be able to go out and get good food. It'd be nice to be able to go out and get a good baked good every once in a while, or it could be done. So I guess that's where my mind goes. Like, man, it'd be nice if we could change the food system for the average American to have it a more convenience to get food. And then if you want to go out, it'd be nice to be able to be like, hey, I want to go, let's go on a road trip. Let's go down and visit Ben and Jason. And I don't have to plan bringing a cooler and a trailer with me to make sure I have food for my road trip. It'd be nice to be able to stop somewhere and not have to bring everything.
Yeah, it would.
Feel you, Al. The struggle is real. That's where we're at.
Right.
We haven't eaten out in a very long time. And, every now and then we will. Families in town or something like that.
Right.
Want to go out to
we
dinner.
do it like once a month, but
yeah. I mean, every single time, like after eating as clean as we have eaten, then you go and eat that trash trough stuff and makes you feel terrible. You're aware of the chemicals that are in it. Like it just doesn't taste like it used to.
I know, it's like, we should have just stayed home.
Yep.
Once in a while.
We went to a local restaurant and it was pasture raised Angus. I'm like, well, what do they consider pasture raised? Are they out there feeding grain in the pasture? Like what? I've never heard of like, it's usually grass-fed beef, not pasture raised beef.
I know. It's like, how detailed do you want? Like how,
right. Excuse me, sir. Can I talk to the chef? Can he come out here, please?
Where's this from?
Where's this from? What pasture is this raised on?
Yeah, you gotta be that guy.
Yep.
So I could tell you guys about my week.
Let's hear it.
Let's see. So today, I had my mini truck a year already.
Wow.
And so today, well, actually, the tags are due at the end of this week. So I waited till the very last minute because I have to go get it inspected somewhere. And, it's only $13. It's not a big deal. But in my brain, I was like, I don't know if this is going to pass. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the truck, but it's a mini truck. It's a 90s. It's older and, it's older. And I just thought, I don't know if it's going to pass. I was like, well, if it doesn't pass on anything, or if something's major on it, I got to fix, then I just won't drive it on the road. It would just be a farm truck then. I don't need to, give it tags or whatever. So I found a place by us, and I took it to this morning, and I drove up, and it passed with flying colors, like a champ. But honestly, they didn't even look at it. I literally pulled up, and the guy was like, "Oh man, what kind of car is this?" They were just like checking the truck out, and I gave him the paperwork that I got in the mail, saying I need to renew the tags. And then it was literally like 5 minutes. He got on the computer, did something, printed something out, and he was like, "Okay, here you go." And I was like, "You guys didn't even look at it?" He's like, "Nah, you're good." Like, and it said pass. So. He's like, "Oh, that'll be $13." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was there for like 5 minutes. It was like nothing. So I don't know. I passed. But since I was there was a kid there. He's like, "Hey, he was like, you want a Jeep?" He's like, "I'll trade you that mini truck for a Jeep. I have a Jeep in the back that I'm selling." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh, let's check out your Jeep." So I go back there, and it's like one of them like 4x4 like off-road rock climber Jeeps with big old tire. It was like, big old dents on it. Like you could tell he just like rolling this thing over and going, off-roading on it. It had like a brand new winch in the front. And he's like, "I'll trade you straight up for this Jeep." I was like,
Run?
Yeah, I know. And then he had a 4-wheeler right next to it, a Polaris 4-wheeler. He's like, "Or I'll trade you the Polaris for the mini truck." I'm like, "Nah, man, I can't do it. And he's like, "Well,"
I'm like, "This is my daily driver."
That's why I said, "This is my work truck, man." I was like, I can't get into tight spots with that big old 4x4. It's just kind of funny.
Pastures.
Yeah. He's going to tear my yard. So it was just kind of funny. That and then after I talked to him, it was like 5 minutes, and then the guy gave me that paper. I was like, "All right, you're good." So we're good for another year. So I know I was worried for nothing. I was like, I think I have that California mentality there. Like California, they're checking for smog and all this stuff. And so there was times where I've taken a car and it did not pass. This was high school years or whatever. But so I guess I still have that. I don't know, but I guess it depends where you go to.
No,
So
they just check for safety down there, or they do an emissions check down there?
I think they do an emissions test, don't they?
Yours might be old enough, though, because a lot of it goes off the years, too. Like, I know even in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from, they did all the emissions stuff, but once it was so old, the emissions stuff was kind of null and void.
I think they just check the brakes and, like, the tires.
Yeah, they just do a safety check, check all the, the lights and wipers and, safety stuff. From what I know, they, like, right when we moved here, they had just gotten rid of the emission stuff. Like, people threw a fit about it. But if I'm correct, I think I remember someone telling me that, which
basically
that's cool.
Up here, if your check engine light's on, basically that's what they go off of for the emissions. It's all for the computer stuff. They got to plug into the computer and check all your computer stuff and your check engine lights. If there's any of those codes on, you're not passing.
Oh man, my mini truck wouldn't
fail
have passed.
in California.
Yep. And then so like even if you reset your light, you gotta drive it for, if you turn off your check engine light, you still have to drive it, I think, for like 100 miles before it does like its trip cycle. So you have to go through all that before you can go get it inspected to make sure it doesn't throw the code again.
Oh man, what a racket!
That was actually the hang up when we had bought our Excursion and we were trying to leave California. It was technically not a California legal vehicle. And so none of the smog shops would touch it. They're like, heck no, if I put that on my equipment, it's going to tattletale on me. I'm going to get in trouble for even plugging it into my equipment. It's like, come on. Like, I just need to get it smogged so I can get the tags so we can leave California. And I finally found a shop and I told the guy what was going on. He goes, heck yeah. I'll pass it for you. And he kind of looked at it and he's like, okay, you got to pull the chip out of it, take the chip out of it. And then he reaches in his toolbox and hands me a cheat sheet. He goes, here's how you close the codes. Do this. Go do this. Come back and I'll check it and see if the codes are closed. If the codes are closed, it'll pass. And I went and I followed these instructions, drove down the freeway. It's like 10 minutes for, 60 miles an hour and, slow down to 55 miles an hour for 20 minutes. And just like this, it was like doing the cheat codes on a Sega Genesis. And turned around, came back, pulled up, guy plugged in and he goes, wow, how many tries did that take you? I was like, just one. He goes, man, you lucked out. Got the pass and we got the heck out of there.
It's funny. Massachusetts wasn't that bad.
Light. Yeah. That's funny. Got to find the right guy.
Right.
So what else? I finished tile work yesterday. I'm still editing that video. So the kitchen is...
Are you a tile expert now?
I'm a tile expert. Put that on the list. Put that out in the front with the notary.
Did you get the grouting done?
Yep, grouting's done.
How'd you like that process?
I mean, it's messy.
It's messy. Yep.
Yeah, it's messy. I bought the pre-mixed grout.
Yep.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess with like trying to mix anything.
Nope.
Even if it was more expensive, I'm just buying the pre-mixed stuff. I don't care. Yep. So that I think was super helpful. We used like little tile squares that were already together in like a mesh in the back. So like there was like I didn't have to cut tile or nothing like that. You just cut out the mesh part and place it. And so it was pretty straightforward, 2 days clean up and everything. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm glad I got it done though. But it was pretty satisfying though doing tile. Because I think you could see it getting done as you go.
Yep.
But I can see where there was one part where I was kind of crooked, so I had like to take it off and then put it back. But other than that, it went pretty smooth. What else? In between the tile, I painted my cool trailer. Like I updated it.
I saw you teasing that on Facebook. I ain't seen the video yet.
No, I haven't done. I recorded it, but I haven't. I'm waiting because I'm gonna put my logo on the side of it.
Cool.
So I had to order basically a giant sticker. So I just got that today, so I gotta put that on and I redid the
11th hour. Doesn't that trailer have to be up in Fletcher like tomorrow?
Wednesday. I'm gonna do it, finish it off tomorrow, and then take it on Wednesday. So yeah, I know I'm trying to do it before I have to take it. So, but yeah, I painted the whole thing and redid some of the wiring, and there was a big old wasp nest underneath it, and was running around spraying. And
did you get that on camera at least?
No, I didn't. No. But
Jason screaming like a little girl.
Yeah. So hopefully I could post that video up soon, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it looks a lot nicer now. It's just the paint was chipping. I don't know. I think it was just the sun. I guess, but it looks nice now. It looks brand new. What else? Another thing I've been working on for the last few months is I think we're gonna go ahead and start selling chicken. The chicken that we raise, and I've been trying to slowly post it on our website and where people actually buy online. And, we're just going to try it and see how it goes. And we can also sell pork and beef if we have it. We don't have it currently, but I think eventually we're going to get there. And we're just going to try it and see how it goes and see if we can even sell it, I've already, over the years, I've always had people asking us, they see us, they're like, you guys eat all that chicken? What do you guys do with all that chicken? Yeah, we do eat
questions.
most of it, but yeah, I'm sure you guys do. What do you do with all that pork, Ben? I know you don't eat all that. Well, yes, I do.
Oh yeah, we eat it.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Will you ship, or is it going to be local pickup?
For now, it's going to be local pickup.
Yep.
Shipping is a whole other thing that we have to do, another hoops to jump through to ship. If I wanted to, I could ship within North Carolina, but still, I don't think we're at that point of shipping yet. So it's going to have
right
to be
now, if you wanted to, with the license you have, you could ship in North Carolina. You just can't go out of state.
Right. Yep. That's a whole other different thing that we'd have to do. So depending on how I don't know how successful it goes, then maybe we'll do that, or if the demand's there, but for now it's going to have to be local pickup, and and we'll see how it goes. But kind of excited and scared at the same time of doing that, which is something that's always been wanting to do since we left California. And like, that was always like the original plan. The original plan was for me to I'm going to go over to North Carolina and I'm going to sell chicken. That was my original OG plan of what I was going to do. And I never did it. I don't know why. I think first of all, I didn't know if I would enjoy doing it. And I didn't know if I could do it to begin with. And just over the years, you just kind of lose sight of that. Or I guess it's been back in my mind, but, you start just doing other things. And then, you do these videos and they overtake your life. And, you just get caught up doing different stuff. So, but yeah, so I figured, man, I think now's a good time to get it going and see what happens.
Yep.
But
cool.
But other than that, that's been keeping me up all night.
What you have plans on? If it does good this year, doing more next year? Is that kind of like the goal, or?
Yeah, I think we'll see how these chickens go. I mean, we still got a batch out there that we're going to butcher, and we'll probably end up selling all those. And kind of see. Plus, we have turkeys. We could sell. So yeah, I guess just kind of see where it goes and see how people react, or what. Is this something that people want from us, or would like to buy from us?
Pre-order their Thanksgiving turkey from you?
Yeah, that's what we're going to plan on doing, yeah. Exciting stuff, yeah.
So if you're in North Carolina, you need a Thanksgiving turkey. Get on his website, send him some emails, tell him how big you want it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Send me some emails. I'm already getting some emails, actually.
Awesome.
It's funny, I probably got 4 emails in the last month asking if we sell chicken and beef and stuff. It's well, it's gonna be a process, of course, like everything else, but yeah.
So they can go to a pig butchering class. They can bring a turkey home with them, buy a turkey while they're out there.
Possibly, yeah. Yep.
That'd be cool. We've actually gotten that question. Hey, if I come to the class, can I go home with meat? It's not legally, but
just gotta charge them more for their ticket, and the meat's just a freebie.
Freebie.
I mean, it's getting into the law, the way the rules are about that. It's that's kind of a sticky situation. So, I mean, if they see where the freezer's at and the class is over, and I happen to walk in the house and they want some bacon or something, and they take it to their car, I mean, I didn't see nothing, so
right.
I shouldn't even talk like that.
You're gonna go after your classes. Your
Just
freezers are gotta
kidding.
be empty. You be cleaned out.
They're gonna call you out on it, Ben. In podcast number, you said this. Yeah.
Podcast 62, you said, blah, blah, blah. I want my pork chops.
No, I want the bacon. You said bacon.
Bacon.
Well, thinking about it, like the bacon isn't cured at the class, so it's just pork belly at that point. So kind of out of luck with the bacon. But there's plenty of pork chops. All right, I guess it's my turn.
So, yeah, what's going on with you, Ben?
All right. Not a whole lot, actually. Like I've only done one thing this week that is kind of boring. I've been mortaring block when I have a minute. I think like Monday and Tuesday, I ripped out the tomatoes and corn just to make room. Like the corn was such an absolute loss. We've never grown corn as badly as we did this year. The corn that did actually grow, like the ears of corn, were like moldy, and not even the good kind of mold. They didn't have corn smut. It was just like moldy corn. So I couldn't even feed the moldy corn to the animals. Like that had to go in the, just compost pile. So kind of frustrating, but I fed all the corn stalks to the pigs and they were happy about it. So I've been working on mortaring all of the pylons, the stacked block for our house edition. And it's just time consuming. And with everything else going on, one day I got like 3 or 4 of them done. The next day I got 1 of them done. It's just been a thing. So I'm hoping I can, really get a good rhythm going, because doing 1 a day is going to take a minute, because there's
You have to mix
stuff.
You have to mix it?
Yeah. I mix the mortar and then
In what barrel?
I just have a mortar tub. I mix like a bag, half a bag, something like that at a time, depending on how tall the pylon is. And I'll just unstack it, start at the bottom, go from the bottom, and you just go layer by layer by layer. And then once it's up, then I have to wait for it to dry before I can transfer the weight from the beam onto that one so I can do the next one. So it's kind of a process, but I mean, I suppose I could probably get enough strong guys over here. We could just all lift the beams and set them on the ground, but they're kind of heavy and awkward. And so I can just plan, carefully and just alternate how I'm doing them. One supports.
Well, how many of those?
There's 21 of them. I have 21
Oh man,
piles that I'm unstacking and mortaring. So the tall ones are kind of a pain. Those take a minute, but the short ones are only 3 blocks high, so it's not too bad. So I did discover.
How many you got going?
I think I've done like
left?
5 or 6 of them, so I still have like 15 to go. I did discover I have not done mortar since I was 18, so it has literally been 20 years. And apparently in 20 years, that's long enough to forget completely how to do it. I feel like I have 2 left hands. Like it's pretty sad.
By the time you get to the end, you'll be like, all right, I got it.
I hope so. I keep waiting. It's like, 1 and 2 went real slow, and 3 and 4 went a little bit faster, and 5 only took 10 minutes. And it's just like, all right, it's coming back. Yeah. So we went this weekend and helped some friends butcher 100 chickens. And I realized that is like the first time in a year that I've butchered chickens. None of our friends have asked us to help butcher chickens this year, which is kind of interesting. Usually, at least 3 or 4 times a year, we're butchering chickens with somebody, and maybe all of our friends don't like us anymore. Maybe we don't butcher chickens the way they like. But it was fun. It's always a good day. 100 chickens is a long day.
Yep.
We were done with the killing by noon. We started at 8:00, so we made pretty good time.
That's good.
But it's the processing, like breaking them down, separating, breasts, leg quarters, and wings. That takes a minute. Like that was what ate up all the time, was doing that, and packaging and all that good stuff. So yeah, we did that this weekend. My random thought of the day. Al had his random thoughts. So I'm in a weird spot. Like we started our family young. We got married young, and we had twins like right out the gate. So from the get go, we have had a full house, and then all four of the boys are about 2 years apart. Well, at the time when we were having them, little kids, and I was like 21. It was like, hey, I won't even be 40 by the time the twins are like graduated and like ready to start their lives and head that direction. That's kind of cool. But what I didn't anticipate is being 2 years apart, they're all learning to drive like around the same time. So I've got the twins that, I mean, mind you, they're almost 18. We waited a long time to get them their learner's permits. Well, Brett, the middle kid, he can get his permit in a couple months. And so, like, I haven't even finished with the twins because I don't know if you've thought about it, but having one that you're teaching how to drive takes a lot of time. But then two, like anywhere we go, they both come with me. One drives there, one drives back. And so, like, we're having a really hard time getting them some drive time. For one, we don't go anywhere. Like, we're always here. And so it's like, hey, drive me to Lowe's. Hey, drive me to the gas station. Hey, drive me to go pick up milk this week. Like, and so it dawned on me today. It was like, I'm not going to drive a car for the next like 5 years. It's just going to be like, as soon as I'm done with the twins, then Brett's ready to start learning how to drive. And then as soon as he's done, there's like a little break. And then Corbin is old enough to learn how to drive. Wow. I'm seriously like, I'm not going to drive for the next couple of years. And it's kind of a weird thought. Like, I'm having a hard time letting go. Like, like that's usually like the time I hop in the car and I'll put on a podcast wherever I'm going somewhere. And I can't do that because, teenage drivers, they're learning how to drive and need to minimize distractions. And so it's like, man, I don't even have driving. Wow. Like, it's just a weird place to find myself.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yep.
Something you don't think about. I don't think about that. But yeah, that's true. You just be in the back seat, man, and just holding on for dear life.
I mean,
shut up, Dad. Be quiet, Dad.
Once they get over the jitters, it's not so bad. But
yeah,
I remember when I was learning how to drive, and I remember watching my mom white knuckle the door. Like I remember. So what goes around comes around, and now it's my turn, but times 4.
Yeah, that's fun times, man. At least you could be like, hey, can you go to Lowe's for me real quick?
I mean, not quite there. Like, they got to get their licenses. That's when it's cool. Like, when I can send them, I can hand them, here's your $50, go to Lowe's, get me this thing, and then, come on back. Like, that'll be cool. But as for right now, it's like, hey, I need to go pick up one thing at Lowe's. Why don't you drive me there? And it's just like, it's weird. I'm having a hard time letting go of driving, of all things.
Especially if you're trying to get there quick and get in and get out kind of thing, or just get there quick. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't just do that.
Yeah. That's other great. Than that, I mean, we let's see, one more thing. I had a big cleaning day this week. We didn't film it. Me and Meg are very frustrated. We are very frustrated with the amount of junk that is accumulated around this place. And, we're going to have classes, like we're going to have people here. And it's like, just because we live in a trailer doesn't mean we need to like look like we live in a trailer. So let's get this place cleaned up. So we did a absolute purge. Like, kids drove around with the wagon and like collected just junk. Basically what I said is, if it's been sitting here for 4 years and we haven't touched it, it's got to go. So that's kind of what we did. It felt good. We cleaned up right up here by the house first. And every time I pull up here, it's like, it looks like nobody lives here. It's so clean. Like, this is really weird.
Yeah, it's hard to get rid of stuff, but once you start doing it, it's like, it's kind of addicting, I think.
Yeah, it's addicting. It feels nice. I'm looking forward to our next
lost like a bunch of weight. Yeah.
Lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah. Like, I can breathe. But you have
I'm
to
aware of
get
it
there.
I'm aware of it every time I hold that camera and I can see the view screen and I can see behind me. And it's like, oh, not that direction. We'll just turn this direction. Oh, not that direction either. Okay, all right. We're going to point at the trees now.
Just blur that out.
Yeah.
Can you blur that out?
Drop in, Meg, on that one, please.
Yep.
Green screen.
So, yeah, that's about it for me. A whole lot of mortar this past week.
You're going to do a lot more mortaring this week then, too, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. Last week was really nice because it was so cool. This week it's supposed to be back up into the 90s. And it's like, man, I don't want to mortar in the 90s, but I'll do it.
Well, you have to because it's like, at least it's not raining, If it was raining, then you wouldn't be doing anything.
You are absolutely right. Can't mortar in the rain, so.
It'll dry faster. You can do more towers every day.
Yeah, that's true. I think the hardest thing is having your mortar tub dry out, and you got to stop and go add some water and get it moving again. Like that's a pain in the butt, but it is what it is.
Well, that's good, man.
That's it.
We have to do like a new thing in every episode, like random thoughts by
Random thought.
That was pretty good. I liked your random thoughts. That sparked a good little conversation.
Yeah. Random thought lasts like 5 minutes.
Right.
I better think of my random thought. I don't know. All right. Well, we're over an hour.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think we'll end up there. But yeah, thank you guys for listening and watching this podcast. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. The YouTube channel keeps growing. Views keep going up. It's a gradual, but they're going up. So we really appreciate it. And all the feedback that we get, like on Spotify and iTunes, and I know you guys are listening and watching. So we really appreciate it. Thank you guys, and hopefully everyone has an awesome week. Thanks.
Have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Later, everybody.